September is Recovery Month. Join the Voices for Recovery, because recovery benefits everyone.
Why recovery?
I reclaimed my life, restored my relationships, and now rejoice, because recovery benefits everyone around me.
So, why recovery? Recovery is real.
In the U.S., millions of us are in recovery from substance use and mental disorders. With help, we have worked to overcome these health conditions and are living happy, healthy, responsible, and rewarding lives in communities throughout our nation.
But there are more than 40 million individuals who still need help, support, and understanding to achieve recovery.
Through hope, empowerment, treatment, and respect, people can and do recover from substance use and mental disorders.
Recovery is possible. The time to respond is now.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
For 24/7 free and confidential information or treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP or visit samhsa.gov.
Prevention works. Treatment is effective. People recover. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Sue Eller, August 26, 2011. All my life, I knew I was different, but when I was growing up, children didn't have mental illness. I was viewed as a problem child and a rebellious teenager. I went through years and years of highs and lows thinking this was the way life was supposed to be. It wasn't until about 7 years ago, after an unsuccessful suicide attempt, that somebody put a name to what was wrong with me. Bipolar, manic depression, whatever the name, it finally explained what was going on. After trial and error, I was put on the right medication, and I went to our local CSB and got the support and help I needed. Now I am 68 years old, and I am finally able to lead a full and productive life. After all these years, I am truly happy in helping others. I am a peer support specialist and a WRAP facilitator. I am involved in several mental health groups, and I am employed by the state mental health hospital in my area. If anyone had told me 8 years ago that I'd be leading the life I am leading, I never would have believed them. All of a sudden, at my age, I realize I have a future, and every day I look forward to getting up, knowing that I have another chance to make a difference in someone else's life. Whitney O'Neill, August 15th, 2011. My life truly began in June 2005 when I finally broke through to the side of recovery. I had no idea recovery would give me the life that I couldn't even conceive for myself. In recovery, I gained back my physical strength, mental capacity, and spiritual well-being. I badly needed this because my addiction had hit me hard and fast. I went from being an excelling student and athlete from a good family to being broken, homeless, starving, and suffering from a potentially fatal liver disease. When I entered a treatment center at age 25, I didn't know what year it was or how old I was. My family had suffered greatly from the sidelines with no tools to help me. The help I so badly needed arrived when I was arrested for being under the influence. In California, a program called Proposition 36 instituted treatment instead of jail time. Rather than serving 90 days in jail, I was offered residential treatment. Since that day, I have lived alcohol and drug-free. I was introduced to the 12-step program, which taught me how to embrace life in a way that I had never been able to do before. I became active in politics in my community. I even landed a job with a top firm in Los Angeles. I now work in Washington, D.C. in recovery advocacy. The biggest gift of all has been motherhood. My newborn son is nothing short of a miracle, and his father and I have built a true family. My recovery has taught me that no life is disposable, and everyone deserves the hope of recovery.
I am greater than any addiction.
I am more than any mental health diagnosis.
I'm bigger than any box that you could put me in.
I am a computer genius.
I am a great poet.
I am a community organizer.
I am president of 3 clubs and founder of my own.
We are the ones. See us for all that we are.
Tracy Lee, August 15th, 2011. I was once a straight-A student with a bright future, but substance use replaced my dreams with nightmares. I remember these years vividly and willingly tell my story in hopes that my pain and triumph will help others in need to find recovery and reclaim their lives. What started out as recreational drug use in college turned into full-blown addiction by the time I reached 30. Domestic violence, depression, homelessness, bankruptcy, and suicide attempts became my life. My son's world became as unpredictable as I was, but somehow I didn't relate our chaos to my drug use. Fortunately, my depression led me to the hospital, and instead of just giving me medicine, an astute nurse recognized my problem and sent me straight to a 14-day treatment program. That was 14 years ago. I cannot begin to express my joy at the changes in my life. My son is now 21 and will soon graduate from Stanford University. He has flourished in my recovery, and I have been there for him in every way. I have renewed my relationships with my parents and siblings. For years, I have helped put a face on recovery and spoke at churches, high schools, city and county councils, and the state capitol about the importance of treatment and recovery. Today, I have my master's in public administration, and I serve on the board of a recovery community support organization. I'm currently a supervisor working in social services and just purchased my first home. Embracing all of my activities, work, and play is a profound sense of spirit and of unwavering faith. Walter Ginter, August 15, 2011. Working in New York City in 2003, I probably seemed completely indistinguishable from the average Westport commuter. I was 54 years old and married, owned a small search firm with my wife, participated in civic activities, and was a registered voter. But each day I took a medication for a chronic medical condition. Taking a maintenance medication is hardly atypical. People take maintenance medications for blood pressure, diabetes, anxiety, and countless other medical conditions. But the difference is that I took a medication to treat my opiate dependence. I had spent the past 20 years trying unsuccessfully to taper my addiction to heroin. At the time, I did not understand that my opiate use had caused changes in my brain. Eventually, I learned that taking medication to restore normal brain function is no different than taking prescribed medication for any other chronic medical condition, such as insulin for diabetics. Very few individuals who use medication-assisted treatments consider themselves in recovery because they have the misconception that recovery only occurs after you leave treatment. But that's not true. I realized that I was not alone, and that thousands of people have achieved abstinence and sobriety with medication-assisted treatments. I am now 61 years old and still ride the train to New York. Only now it is to the South Bronx, where I teach methadone patients that recovery assisted by medication is just as valid as any other pathway to recovery, with the intention of preserving their health and wellness. Timothy Howard, August 15, 2011. As a result of a drug treatment program, I began my recovery on April 4, 1990. On that day, I realized a higher power might have a better plan for me if I was willing to surrender long enough. But recovery was lasting on my mind in the late 1970s and 1980s as I was running through the streets of Harlem. Then, I thought that alcohol and drugs were just an aspect of partying. My frame of mind led me to multiple visits to jail, 3 broken marriages, abandonment of my 3 children, and the loss of countless jobs. Not much of a party. I didn't know what my future looked like, but I knew for sure what the past looked like, and I didn't like it. I sought out 12-step meetings, obtained a sponsor, and worked the program. I returned to school and achieved a bachelor's degree and a master's in social work. Today, I have become a credentialed alcohol and substance abuse counselor and licensed master of social work.
Before, addiction and depression kept me from living my life. And now, every step I take in recovery benefits everyone. There are many options that make the road to recovery more accessible. It begins with the first step. Join the Voices for Recovery. For information and treatment referral for you or someone you love, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.